Jaylen Brown's future with the Celtics might be hanging in the balance this offseason, with a significant chance that he could be moved in order to fix the financial issues Boston has right now. With Brown being in his prime and having a hefty contract behind his back, will the Celtics actually pull the trigger and cause the biggest upset in the upcoming offseason? And if so, what are the potential contenders that have a strong enough package to trade for Jaylen Brown? The Boston Celtics have seemingly committed to making some big off-season moves and major roster changes following the Achilles tear of Jayson Tatum. The superstar is expected to miss the entirety of the next season, and that prompted the 2023-24 champions to think about their future. What this means is that players like Jrue Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis and, to the shock of many, Jaylen Brown have been put on the trade block. It doesn't necessarily mean that Boston is ready to give up on the face of their league after offering him a hefty contract, but it's an indicator that Boston is ready to listen to offers from teams that are ready to commit to giving up their future for a win-now situation with Brown. On the other hand, it would give the Celtics a lot of breathing room to build around Tatum once he comes back. Considering he's still very young, the Achilles tear shouldn't have that big of an impact on his career progressing forward. Brown completed the 9th season with the Celtics, where he averaged 22.2 points per game, 5.8 rebounds and 4.5 assists, complemented with 1.2 steals and shooting 46.3% from the field. If a potential trade were to happen, it's definitely not related to his numbers, but to the financial problem that the Celtics are facing. According to Bobby Marks from ESPN, the Celtics could face up to $500 million in combined payroll and luxury tax penalties, with 11 players currently under contract for next season. Thanks to the NBA's second apron rules, the Celtics are under great financial pressure, and any move from their side shouldn't be looked at as an impossible one. The fact that the 2024 NBA Finals MVP is on the trade block suggests that the team is ready to think way outside their box, which would essentially mean that they are ready to retool and gather additional assets. Another thing that the Celtics would be willing to do is apply for a disabled player exception in addition to potential trades. It wouldn't necessarily provide cap relief, but it's definitely going to help them with the flexibility to sign or trade for a key player. This is something that Brian Robb of MassLive reported, as he said, "Tatum is set to make $54.1 million next year, and every dollar will still count against the cap despite his injury." A tough reality in the NBA. According to Shams Charania from ESPN, the fact that Jaylen Brown was put on the trade block shouldn't be too big of a surprise to us. After all, he's been the go-to guy for the team along with Tatum. But now that one of them is injured, the team needs to think about the luxury tax penalties and the $500 million in combined payroll. This is the primary reason why Boston is exploring the trade market. They need to remain competitive under tighter spending limits. When addressing the Jaylen Brown situation, Charania said, "The Celtics are going to make trades. The Boston Celtics will have a much different roster next season potentially. You look at Jayson Tatum, of course. He's injured, and you can't really trade him. He's really the face of your franchise. After that, it's really going to depend on what value you can get. I think teams are going to express a lot of interest in Jrue Holiday. Teams are going to inquire about Kristaps Porzingis. Teams are going to inquire about Jaylen Brown. And I think the Celtics are going to have to identify what value can we get for each of these players. I know what you're thinking. The Tatum injury should only help Brown's case in solidifying himself as the leader of the team. Now is the time when he needs to prove that he is worth every penny of his contract. He has 4 years remaining on his $285 million contract, and it's obvious that if the Celtics were willing to pull the plug on Brown, it would have to be for a massive package that would come their way. Maybe something related to Antetokounmpo or a team that's ready to give up all of their assets for the 28-year-old. But what are the most obvious candidates to land Brown if such a wild trade happens? According to Greg Swartz of Bleacher Report, there are 2 Eastern Conference teams that could offer an enticing deal for the Georgia native. One of them is the Atlanta Hawks, as they might have an ace in their sleeve Brown would find intimidating. He'd play in his home country. Elaborating further on this, Swartz said, "If financial stress causes the Celtics to listen to offers on Brown this summer, the Hawks should bite." Pairing the 2024 NBA Finals MVP with Young and Jaylen Johnson would create an exciting Big Three in Atlanta. Brown grew up in Marietta, Georgia, a suburb of Atlanta. Another team is the Sixers, and even though it would inevitably mean that the Celtics are giving their player to one of their fiercest rivals, Philadelphia's offer might be too much to not take it seriously. When writing about this, Swartz elaborated, "If the Sixers could land Brown instead, though, Philly should pull the trigger. Such a move would likely have Paul George rerouted to a third team, assuming the Celtics would want to clear salary by moving Brown. Let's not forget one very important thing here. Giannis is available this summer. Reports from Milwaukee stated that he is committed to stay, but if the Celtics would be willing to propose a straight swap with some additional picks heading to the Bucks, it would definitely present a sweet headache for the front office of the Milwaukee franchise. Brad Stevens is known as a man with deep vision, so if he has it in his head that with Tatum and Antetokounmpo the championship is within reach, I don't think he'll stop at any obstacle to make this happen. Of course, it would mean giving up some other superstars as well, including Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis, and maybe even Derek White. But that's the price you have to pay when you've found yourself in the situation you're currently in. Again, we're analysing things from a hypothetical point of view. Jaylen Brown has been vocal about wanting to remain a Celtic, and the team stated that they are not thinking about a future without him as of now. But that was before they put him on the trade block. Now, things have changed a bit, and we might be forced to look at it from a different perspective. At the end of the day, everything is business related, so even if a trade happens, we shouldn't be too surprised by it. It's how the NBA operates. Who of us would have bet that Doncic would be traded after bringing the team to the finals for the first time since 2010 and the Nowitzki era? If the Celtics somehow decide that they are ready to move on from Brown, then it would be a seismic shift in their culture. It's not just about numbers on a balance sheet. They are literally giving away the heart and soul of the team. It would be very hard and quite impossible to think about the Celtics team without Tatum or Brown in it. But considering the gruesome reality they've found themselves in, it might not be that big of a surprise after all. To complement that, the rumours swirling around Giannis's future with the Bucks are only making these trade talks even more desirable. And if we are to look at it from a neutral point of view, it's not that crazy of a deal. With all this in mind, do you think that Jaylen Brown should be traded from the Celtics? And if so, who do you think is the most legitimate candidate to land him in a blockbuster deal that would shake up the entire core of the 2023-2024 champions? Let us know in the comments below, and once you do that, make sure to click on the video that appears on your screen right now.